FlossTube. Welcome to my stitchy home. My name is Becca and today's date is Friday, June 21st, 2019. And this is my fourth FlossTube. It has been 4 weeks, I think. So I'm a little out of practice, so to speak. This is a channel mainly about cross stitch, but I do talk about quilting, like the quilt behind me, and a little bit about counted canvas work. And since I spoke to you last, I caught the crochet bug and actually did some crocheting, and I'll show you what I did. So welcome. In my last video, I announced that I had passed the 100 subscriber mark and would have a giveaway, and I showed all the giveaway items and asked for people to comment on that video. I also said I would give some items to one commenter on my very first video, and so I have commented on all the winners' comments letting them know what they won, and I also just put a pinned comment which should show up first as the very first comment on video number 3. So if you don't stick around to find out who the winners are and you want to just go straight to video number 3 and look at the very first comment, it should be from me listing who all the winners are and what particularly they won. And for the winners, I just need them to send me their mailing address to mystitchyhome@gmail.com. So I am super excited. As of a few minutes ago, I was at 367 subscribers, which, you know, blows my mind. Thank you so much for every one of you that's out there and watching this. I hope that you're getting some stitching done and that you're, you know, in a good place and that you're feeling good. And if you're not feeling good, I hope this maybe cheers you up a little bit. That would be wonderful if it did. Okay, the winners are, the commenter from video number 1 was Senorita Stitches, and I don't know her name. I just know on YouTube she's Senorita Stitches. She won the card, the little greeting card with an envelope and a pattern. A pattern that you can stitch this design. The 4 little prairie schooler patterns that kind of each represented the 4 seasons in my mind. And then the scissor fob that I showed last time that has the little scissors hanging off the end. So Senorita Stitches, please email me your address and I'll mail this off to you. And then I chose 7 people from commenting on video number 3. And this is in, you know, no particular order, but Sheila Miller, there's your name, Sheila Miller, won Button, who's got the button, from Country Cottage Needleworks. Lynn McGill, who coincidentally, I drew her name, you know, I didn't exclude family members, and she is a stitcher, but there's her name, she knows she won. I did hear back from her. I haven't heard back from any of the other winners, but she won my Garden of Stitches. And then Mary Warman, who I believe told me she has a house in the North Georgia mountains that she visits. Mary Warman. She won the Jingle All the Way sock pattern, which came with the little jingle bells. Cheryl Dowd won Lizzie Kate, and I thought this was super interesting. I think she mentioned that she liked Lizzie Kate, And I was like, okay, she just won a Lizzie Gate. Okay. And then Julie R. Knits Dash Stitches. She won the Holland sampler. Came with the linen and the threads. And I looked up this company, and they actually sell yarn, which I thought was interesting that Julie R. Knits Stitches. Oh, maybe Julie, you want to buy some yarn from them. I think she said she's from Indiana too, which I'm from Indiana, so that was interesting. And then Deb Choate. Anyway, Deb won the Prairie Schooler with the linen. And finally, Nancy Fisher won the Noah's Ark kit that came with the mat and the print and fabric and DMC floss. And it's sealed, so I'm assuming the fabric and DMC floss are in there. And then the chart to stitch this little cute little saying at the bottom. That went to Nancy Fisher. So guys, if you won, send me your address. And thank you so much for everybody that commented. I was re-looking at comments again a couple days ago. I was re-looking yesterday. I was looking today. And I just wish I could meet all of you. I know I'm going to meet some of you at StitchCon next week, and I'm super excited for that. And speaking of StitchCon, I'm wearing my StitchCon shirt, and I've ordered 2 or 3 more that I'm supposed to pick up when I get to StitchCon. So anyway, I'm excited. And if you're not going to StitchCon, that's okay. That's okay. You will be probably stitching with us at the same time. We're all stitchers, we're all stitching, we're all feeling good. And whether we're in the same room or not, or across the world, we're still stitchy friends. And I'm so grateful for you. So very grateful. Okay. I want to answer a couple of questions that were outstanding questions. One was, I didn't know the magazine or the issues that my copper optic design was in. Now mine is a little different in color. I replaced some of the purples with blue, but I showed this on an earlier video. And so this was in the March 2011 Needle Pointers magazine, which is put out by the American Needlepoint Guild. So this was the March 2011 issue. And second part of it was in the May 2011 issue. And then the third and final part was in the July 2011 issue. So if you're interested in copper optic, let me see, who is it by? By Jeanne, Jeanne, Polzin, Polzin. She's the designer for that. So I hope I'm not ready to give these away just yet. If you're a member of the American Needlepoint Guild, or if you become a member, I think you can order back issues on their website. So and you might also see these at some point on Stash Unload or Stash Unloading. The next kind of outstanding thing, I believe, was, well, I don't know that it was outstanding, but this is the pattern for a counted canvas work piece that I showed earlier. It's called 2 Lighthouses. And I'm going to give this away after this video. So if you are interested in stitching this counted canvas work design, which is by Nancy's Needle, this is the supply list. Just somewhere in your comment, say the word lighthouses, lighthouses with an S on the end. Say, I'd like to stitch the lighthouses. And I'll put you in for a drawing in my next, not my next video. I'll probably leave this open until, I'm going to leave this open until July 17th. Yes, July 17th. Okay. Then the third outstanding issue, and it's still outstanding, is I'm still looking for the pattern hearts. And I didn't bring that over here, but I know we had a couple people wanting to know who the designer was, and I haven't found the pattern yet. If you happen to know, if you remember in my previous video showing the pattern hearts, where it actually said, you know, hearts, and you know who that pattern is by, please comment below, because I haven't found my pattern yet. Okay, the quilt behind me, the quilt, not the cross stitch. The quilt behind me is by Sweet Jane's, and it's called Grandma Mary's 5-Patch. I picked this up in Joann's, and I picked up what's called a half a jelly roll. It's 20 strips of fabric that are 2.5 inches wide by about 42 inches long, and they are the strips here and here, these the patterned strips. And then I bought yardage for the white and for this aqua. This is grunge, which is just a Moda grunge. It's a line of fabric. It has kind of a washed out look to it. And then I bought gray for these little corners, and this kind of a greeny yellow for the cornerstones here. And I don't know why it's called a 5-patch. So on my quilt label, I'm actually calling it a 9-patch delight, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the block. It's a 9-patch. So Grandma Mary had a weird way of counting, but I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there's a reason it's called that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so let's talk about this finish here. This is cross stitch. And okay. My husband asked me to stitch this. It's, I mean, she's pretty. She's a pretty girl, but the book it's in and what she's called is kind of disturbing. Anyway, I think I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. I think it's from I Love Cross Stitch. It's called Sprites and Wizards, and you know, that's really cute, little fairy. Some of the other designs you've got, let's see, Merlin the Wizard. The one I stitched, which I modified a little bit, was this one. And I did not stitch the background. Instead, I bought this like tie-dye looking fabric from Picture This Plus. And it's Aida. I think it's 14 count Aida. I think it's 14 count Aida. But instead of stitching all this orange stuff, I just bought that fabric. And I didn't stitch her little scarf tails here. And I didn't stitch, there's a bunch of like moons and stars. And I didn't stitch those either. So to me, she's like a royal queen or something. And I bought a bead that I still need to glue. I think I'm going to have to glue it to that so it will actually have a like a crystal there, a Swarovski crystal. Anyway, let's see, some other designs from here are these little blooming fairies. And this one's called the Wizard's Spell. This one's called Woodland Sprites. And let's see, is that it? I think that might be it. Yep, that's it. So I stitched that for my husband. It's kind of an opalescent or sparkle Ada, and I just thought it was perfect for kind of getting the look of the design without stitching all those cross stitches. So anyway, so I thought I'd hang that up there for the rest of the video. Some non-cross stitch finishes of late. I said I sort of took up crochet, and let's see if I can find the, okay, that's the back. Okay, I think this is how you wear it. Oh, let's see. So yeah, like that. And I think I threw the pattern away. It was the pattern that came with the yarn, so I think I threw it away. It was super easy to do, and that's what it looks like. I love these colors. So after I finished that, I said, I want to tackle something harder, but I'm a big wimp, and so I called my friend Melissa. Hey, Melissa. And I showed her the pattern because she does knitting and crocheting, and I said, can you help me make this shawl? And she said, sure. And so she helped me, and I made it. And let's see if I can show this a little bit. There's the bottom. So it's kind of hard to show, but let's see, if I wanted to wear it swung over my shoulders, I could. So yeah, there's the yarn, the design. How fun is that? Whew. I would not have been able to do that without Melissa. So I've already bought more yarn to make another one, and I didn't bring that over here, but I'm planning to start that before we go on vacation in a couple weeks, and I will be stitching on that in the plane and in the car, and whenever I have a chance. I thought that might be a good travel piece to take, although I will take cross stitch too, of course. Okay, a past finish, which is counted canvas work, is this piece, which I finished into a box that my brother-in-law gave me. Isn't that pretty? And I thought I'd show you one of the things I have in the box is this little ceramic Siamese cat that I painted years ago, years and years ago. Isn't that cute? Like a little, I guess you could put a tea, hot tea bag or something. So anyway, for some reason I had that in the box. And this brings up another giveaway. I like doing giveaways. So this is the pattern. It's called Stitching for Autism, sponsored by the Massachusetts chapter of the American Needlepoint Guild. And 100% of the net proceeds benefited Autism Speaks. So I don't believe you can get this kit, this pattern and kit, anymore, unless you find somebody that is, you know, selling their, I think they sold, 3,000, 4,000 kits maybe. So this was a few years ago that I bought this. But I have a couple of cousins who have autism or are on the autistic spectrum. And so I bought this to kind of honor them. And I'm giving the pattern away. Now I have it in a, a notebook folder. I have it in a folder in page protectors. And so I may take it out of that just to simplify the shipping. But if you're interested in this design, is it here? It would just be the pattern. Put in the comments below the word autism, so you could say I'd like to stitch the autism piece, or I'd like to stitch autism, and I'll put your name in the running for the pattern. I also want to say that my cousin Lynn, that won one of the giveaways, she is a wonderful stepmom to the two of my cousins they're on the autistic spectrum. So I really admire you, Lynn. Just know that I do. And I sent her one of these kits back when I got it. I sent her one of the kits, and I think I sent it with a little acrylic trivet holder. So because I think it's 6 by 6 or 7 by 7 inches, and it's stitched on 18 count mono canvas, or that's what came with the kit. Okay, boy, I am just going on and on. So besides crocheting a lot, I kept working on what I called my travel piece, the Christmas sampler by Cottage Garden Samplings. That this picture does not do it any justice. And I'm doing good. I'm doing good, y'all. I made some changes. You will hear me say that frequently. For some reason, I like making, like I made changes to that. I made changes to this. Let's see. Okay. The pattern for I was icicles, and I changed it to ivy because H is holly, and I thought holly and ivy. I changed joy to Jesus because I kind of feel like we wouldn't have Christmas if we didn't have Jesus. And I changed the Q, the design for the Q. It was, you really can't see it here, but the word they used was quaint, and because I do quilting, I'm changing it to quilts. And I used the O, and then stuck a tail on it, the tail of the Q. But like I said, you really can't see their Q is right there. But it almost looked like a Z to me. So I said, I'm going to change it. So I've been stitching on this at home and not just for travel. I just sort of, you know how that is? You think, oh, I can just work on this at a, you know, random times. And then you're like, oh, I want to work on that all the time. Well, that was kind of me with this. So between crocheting and other things, I stitched on that. And I have not stitched on Tracking the Seasons. I have not stitched on my online class, The Right Kimono. But I did stitch another piece for my StitchCon Smalls Exchange. And I am going to talk about StitchCon and my plans, some possible stitchy plans in another video. But I will show you the second part of my small. So I showed the first part in a previous video. So I'm giving away scissors and a little scissor fob that has strawberries in a basket. If you can see that. And then on the back it says StitchCon. And I have a little charm here that says 2019. And then I put the little sunflower charm that came with the first part of the piece. So I'm so happy. And just to remind you of the first thing was this. It's a little pin cushion. It has the sunflowers. It's by Jeanette Douglas. And the design that I modified it. This also was just a pattern in there. There was no picture. It was just the pattern. So I can't show that to you. But I said, well, that would make a nice little scissor fob. And on the same fabric. I love that blue. So that's my StitchCon Smalls Exchange. I got that done. Yay. Okay, what else? What else? That I talked about that. That. Okay. Haul is not a lot this time. I'm going to save some haul for my next video. But I wanted to tell you I ordered some iron-on labels. Let's see. Iron-on labels with my channel name and my name, if you can see that. There we go. From a Etsy shop called Border City Quilts. And this is their if it'll, I don't know if it'll, nope. Anyway, they're border, let's see, bordercityquilts.etsy.com. And these are little iron-on labels, or you could stitch them down. So those will be on things. I think I'll place one on the bottom of the pin cushion. And then something else I ordered from Diane Herman. I took a class from her a year or two ago, and her design, I'll show it in a future video because I forgot to bring it downstairs. It's called Walking the Water's Edge, and Accoutrement Designs created a needle minder based on her canvas work piece. Sorry for the crinkles. I forgot to take this out at the package. But it's like water on a beach. And then there's a little starfish. And it is exclusive for Diane Herman. I bought it from her directly. So that's a needle minder. And I ordered more than one of those. Okay. In the next video, I'm planning to feature my cat Duchess, because it's real important that you all meet Duchess and know that Duchess is my cat, especially if you're going to StitchCon. Wink, wink. I'll talk about my StitchCon plans. I'll show you what I'm planning to take. Hi to my roommate, Mindy Evans. And I'm looking forward to meeting, well, everybody, but some names that come to mind is Brenda, who's the Handwork Maniac on FlossTube, Hoosier Apple, Victoria with Victoria's Creative Crafts. She lives not that far from me, but we've never met in person, and she's a friend of my cousin Lynn. Dena Half Stitch Cross Stitch is going to be there. Melissa in Neely's Needle Nest, I believe she's going to be there. And Gables, who is the Gables Stitcher, I believe she's going to be there. And many, many more. Jan Hicks with Jan Hicks Creates. Pam and Steph just keep stitching. Many, 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 many. And also in my next video, I'll talk about my Bags Plus order that came in. And I found fabric by Blackbird Designs that's the cross stitch design, and I'll show that in my next video. I bought several yards of that, so if you are looking for that fabric, let me know, because I'm willing to sell it. And then I've got some project bags cut out ready to sew, and hopefully we'll have those to show in my next video. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. I would love to share more, but this is probably already way too long. Anyway, thanks for coming back and spending this time with me. Okay, I need to tell you about the giveaway rules for this video. You need to be 18 years or older, in the US, Washington, D.C., the USA. Canada's okay. Don't say win or giveaway. If you do, I'll have to delete your comment. And if you're interested in the lighthouse piece, say lighthouses with an S on the end. And if you're interested in the autism piece, say autism. You know, I'd like to stitch autism, or I'd like to stitch lighthouses. And you'll have through the middle of July to comment on this video either way, or both. You can comment with both comments, both words, and be in the running for both. Okay, that's it. So thanks for coming to my stitchy home, and I'll see you next time. Happy stitching. Bye. Hey FlossTube, welcome to my stitchy home. My name is Becca and today's date is Friday, June 21st, 2019. And this is my fourth FlossTube. It has been 4 weeks, I think.